Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Tonight I have a story that will send a chill right down your spine. It's a classic tale that's been whispered in the halls of hospitals for years. A story that makes you question what's real and what's not, especially in the dead of night. So, turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's dive into the legend of the red wristband. Our story begins with a young doctor, Dr. Evans, working a late shift at an old sprawling hospital. This particular hospital had a simple yet stark system for identifying patients. A green wristband meant the patient was alive and under care. A red wristband? Well, a red wristband meant the patient was deceased, waiting to be moved to the morgue. It was a grim but necessary part of hospital logistics. One particular night, the hum of the hospital was low, the corridors eerily quiet. Dr. Evans was finishing up his rounds when he realized he was running low on some crucial supplies. The only place to get them was the hospital's basement storage room. The basement was a place most staff avoided. It was cold, damp, and the flickering fluorescent lights did little to chase away the deep shadows. With a sigh, he headed towards the service elevator at the far end of the wing. As he approached, the elevator doors chimed and slid open. Standing inside was a lone woman in a standard patient gown. She had long dark hair that partially covered her face, and she was just staring straight ahead, lost in her own world. Dr. Evans wasn't surprised to see a patient. It was common for those on long-term recovery to be allowed to walk the halls for a bit of exercise as long as they were back in their rooms by the 10 p.m. curfew. He offered a polite, if tired, smile. "Evening," he said as he stepped inside, the doors closing behind him with a soft thud. He pressed the button for the basement, the plastic cool against his fingertip. As the elevator began its slow descent, a strange detail pricked at his mind. The woman hadn't pressed a button. The panel was dark except for the bee he had just illuminated. Was she also going to the basement? It seemed unlikely for a patient. He glanced at her, but she remained perfectly still, her gaze fixed on the polished steel doors. The silence in the small space was heavy, broken only by the low groan of the elevator cables. He tried to dismiss his unease. It had been a long shift, and his mind was probably just playing tricks on him. They were just two people sharing a ride. Nothing more. Finally, the elevator chimed again, signaling their arrival at the basement. The doors rumbled open, revealing a long, dimly lit corridor. The air that drifted in was musty and cold, carrying the faint scent of disinfectant and something else, something old and forgotten. Just as Dr. Evans was about to step out, a shape emerged from the shadows at the far end of the hallway. It was a man, also in a patient gown, shuffling slowly, limping heavily. He was moving towards the elevator. But there was something wrong, something deeply unsettling about the way he moved. Instinct, sharp and sudden, took over. A wave of pure panic washed over Dr. Evans. He didn't think. He just reacted. His hand shot out and he slammed the closed door button, hammering it again and again. The man in the hallway was getting closer, his silhouette growing larger in the dim light. The doctor's heart was a drum against his ribs. Come on," he muttered, his breath catching in his throat. Finally, with a protesting groan, the doors began to slide shut, cutting off the view of the limping man just as he was about to reach them. The elevator lurched and began its ascent. Dr. Evans leaned back against the wall, his body trembling, trying to catch his breath. The sense of immediate danger was so potent, so real, it left him dizzy. That's when the woman spoke. Her voice was calm, almost bored, but with an edge of annoyance. "Why did you do that?" she asked, turning her head to look at him for the first time. Her eyes were dark and empty. "He was just trying to get on the elevator." Dr. Evans, still rattled, tried to explain. His voice was shaky. "His wristband? Did you see his wristband?" he stammered out, pointing a trembling finger towards the now sealed doors. "It was red. He had a red wristband." He took a deep, shuddering breath, the image seared into his mind. "I know because I was the surgeon who operated on him. He didn't make it. He passed away last night." The words hung in the air, heavy and absolute. The man he had just seen, the man limping down that dark corridor, was supposed to be in the morgue. A strange silence filled the elevator once more. The woman didn't seem shocked or scared. Instead, a slow, unnerving smile spread across her pale lips. She looked at him, her dark eyes holding his, and then she slowly, deliberately, lifted her own slender arm. On her wrist was a thin plastic band. The color was unmistakable in the sterile light of the elevator. It was red. "You mean," she said, her voice dropping to a whisper, "like this one?" Thanks so much for watching. I hope that story gave you the chills. If you enjoyed this dive into the darkness, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more spooky stories every week. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this one, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay safe.